Hi everybody, thanks for joining us again at Thankful for Grace. Today we are going to talk about relationships, and I have a good panel for you guys today. I have my friend JJ, thank you for being with us today JJ, and my girlfriend Tina Evans, and we are going to talk about our opinions about relationships. So I am so excited. Guys, please, if you're interested in hearing different topics with my panel, please contact me on my website, www.thankfulforgrace.com. All right, guys. So the topic is relationship. And what we hear a lot now about is what is the person bringing to the table in a relationship? And we hear it from different perspectives. We hear men now saying, listen, well, what is she bringing to the table? And women, I kind of feel like we always have been saying, what is that person bringing? So I kind of want to touch base on how it started out originally up to how we've gotten to this point now on, well, what do you got? And well, what do you got? Yeah. So what would you say, JJ, based on what do you have to bring to the table from a man's perspective?
You want today or you want yesterday?
I want yesterday. I'm going to bring it up to today.
Well, you figure you go back like years ago, when I was young and vibrant. It was mostly the guy's responsibility. Because back in the day, you figure most of the ladies was at home and stuff. They wasn't working, so everybody looked for the man to be a provider. So most of the time, the female was looking for somebody that had a good job. And back in the day, if you was a professor in school or school teacher, oh my Lord.
That was money.
Yeah, don't even be a doctor or lawyer or something like that. Or even porters on the train. All of those guys had good jobs, along Shermans and all those guys, Merchant Marine. So you was that provider, and it was no big deal. That's what we look for. But most of those days, the women was at home taking care of the kids and the food and stuff and all that, running the household. Well, you flip it today, it's a whole different society today. The guys now want you. They want a woman to bring more than a pre-used coochie to the table. You just can't come in with a pre-used coochie. You got to have a job. They want you to be making the money also. Mm-hmm. So it's one of them things. Like I look at what it was like yesterday and today, and sometimes I just have to drop my head down and laugh because things are expensive now. So and the guys are actually looking now for you ladies to take care of them. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they're looking for the female to bring the money to the table. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so today is an entirely different environment than it was, when I was coming along and back in the day.
Yeah, because yesterday, in a relationship, it was looked to the man to provide, be the provider, the protector, and all of that. And, women were pretty much, a housewife, taking care of the kids, like you said, cooking and cleaning. Women did work, but they weren't expected to bring a big income like the man did as the provider. Nowadays, men are looking to you or for you to bring it all. Mm-hmm. And he may not be bringing much. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, taking you to work, and this may sound materialistic, but it's realistic. You dropping her off at her job in her Mercedes, and then you going back home and playing video games all day. Mm-hmm. So, and I kind of feel like this day and time, women don't require their men to do or have much. At least that's how I see it. And I have a younger daughter, and a lot of times she'd be like, Mommy, these women don't care as long as they got a man. And yesterday, it wasn't like that. Your man had to be of some substance, of himself, and bring something to the table. Mm-hmm. Definitely be a provider. But this day and time, men don't have to be providers because women accept them as they are.
I kind of feel like it's an extreme. I feel like earlier on, like you said, women they took care of the household. Yeah. So it wasn't so much of a requirement for her to do, have that career and things of that sort. So the man mostly dominated. Yeah. But I feel like now, you still have women that still take care of the house and do everything.
That's true.
And I hear what you're saying, and they'll have a guy who doesn't do nothing that the older generation would do at all, even going to the point of pumping your gas. Because it's one thing that drives me crazy is when I go to get my gas and there's a male sitting in the passenger side and the female is out there pumping that gas. I'm telling you, there is nothing that gets to me. And I mean, it gets to me. One time I was so fed up that I said something to a man about it at the Sam's Club gas station because he was training his daughter. But then he went and got back in the car. And I was like, the lesson's over. The lesson's over. You've already gotten back in the car.
Yeah.
So I do feel like it is. I think when you are having a conversation about possibly getting in a relationship, that you have to have those conversations up front. Now, what does a relationship look like to you?
Exactly.
And get those specifics.
Sure.
Because I'm not going to be cooking and cleaning and doing all these things and you're at the house or you're out with your boys. That's not going to happen.
Exactly. I'm working 80 hours a week and you just pretty much chilling.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, and you're not dropping me off at work.
But one thing, my 15 minutes of marriage, and I quit. I didn't require the lady I was married to have this job and all of that. Because I was in the military and I was moving anyway. So I was going to get married and then like 3 days later was going to be in Italy. Plus, at that time, I was commissioned officer, so I was making enough money where I didn't even have to depend on it. I didn't even think about it.
Right.
It never came into my mind that she needed to make X amount of dollars. Never. And I didn't marry her with the premise that she needed to make that kind of money. I didn't care. I didn't look at it. But once I got to Europe and I saw other married couple, some of the guys over there, and I'm talking about probably mid-80s, late 80s, some of them guys required their wives to make a certain amount of money. They really did.
Wow.
And then the wives and most of them, I said the officer wife, a lot of them wasn't working at all. So, and then it became friend with some enlisted wife who was working. And then all of that stuff started coming back on guys. So, relationships back then, you especially if the girl was fine. Now, if she's fine. And maybe we didn't give a damn if she had a job or not, if she looked good. She was just fine. Man. We was operating on that premise that, wow, she's fine.
I'm not really mad at men who are having expectations for the person that they're with. And I'm not mad at a woman for that either. Yeah. But as long as your expectations are something that you meet.
There you go.
Because if you don't meet it, then why are you expecting it of someone else? That is my issue with that. I don't subscribe to you need a man to take you out to an expensive restaurant.
Yeah.
Because what that tells me is if you didn't go there on your own and pay for your own meal, is he the only one exposing you to this?
Sure.
Good point.
That I struggle with that. And you want to, if it's a good man, once he can see that you can provide for yourself and stand on your own, he's not gonna want you to.
Yeah. But you look at that, and I'm a baby boom generation. Our generation is entirely different between the generation now. It's night and day. I mean, my generation and your generation is so different. The generation of today, those guys look for women that got a good job.
They do.
And they'll drop the lady off at work, but they got a side chick too. They ride a side chick in your car that you paying for.
Yes, they do.
So it's the relationship.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I mean,
so when you go into a relationship today, I think a few questions you need to ask, and it depends because dating and being in a relationship is two entirely different things. Yeah. That's what the person has to realize first. Because just because I take you out a couple times, we're not in a relationship. It just might be a booty call. You don't know it, but in my mind, that's all I'm thinking. But if it's going to be a relationship that you need to sit down and have this conversation, probably after 3 or 4 dates, maybe. You need to have a conversation about what is this leading to.
That's true because for me, I think a relationship calls for commitment at some point.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's just my opinion. At some point.
Yes.
I'm the person. Let's get the conversation out of the way because I don't want to waste my time and I don't want to waste yours either. So, let me tell me where your mind is at and what these things look like to you because we might not be talking anymore.
Okay.
And so let's go ahead and get this over and done with. But what I would say about the man, because I think I heard you say something about the men now are looking for women that have good things. I have a friend that is a bodyguard, and he tells the guys, "Look, we got women in here with high FICO scores. If y'all want to come in here." So that men are advocating for other men. And look, y'all better come on in here because we got some good FICO scores in here. And I'm not mad about it. I'm not, because some men have gotten with women who have low credit scores and they've had to take care of them, everything. And I don't see that is fair.
But is a good credit score a reason not to get into a relationship or a reason to get in a relationship? That's a question too. If a person have a bad credit score, is that a reason to say, I'm going to discard this person?
I don't know. I guess it depends on what's your list of standards. If for some people it doesn't matter that you got a bad credit score. I'm gonna help you get your credit score where it needs to be, but you have to be able to have some class about yourself, or it's the story of, well, how did your credit score get low? I think it just depends.
Most people don't have that conversation.
That's the problem.
Yes, I agree with you. I have never dated anyone, even in today's market, that said, "Hey, look, what's your credit score?" Never.
Because people don't like to discuss finance.
Yes.
But people don't like to discuss mental health either.
That's
and
right.
then you just started dating the person, you realize they crazy.
The whole damn family.
And you like, hold on.
Exactly.
And, you go meet the family, you're like, oh, there's a whole bunch of crazy in here. But you didn't even ask.
Okay.
And of course I don't know that people will be that honest because they probably have shame. But there are those of us, me being included, that will say, listen, I got this uncle. Don't now just, hey, look.
But you know what? A lot of times people don't discuss certain things because they were never taught to.
Yeah.
Or they never saw that, whether it was from grandma, granddaddy, mama, daddy. So to them, it's kind of like a non-issue. Like Johnny was just saying, oh, she look good. So, okay, I'll help her get her credit score right. But those are conversations, which that was not a conversation I even had with my now husband.
Yeah.
I feel that.
It was just something that we didn't do, but I feel like people should. Because like you're saying, then you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yes, and I see what you're saying about us not having those conversations, because one of the things, I grew up in the country, so we were raised as girls to know, this is a chainsaw, this is an axe, these are what these tools are.
Yeah.
So when I hear men don't know how to use a chainsaw, or they don't know how to use a wrench, or what it is, to me that's a deficit. I'm like, no, because he would be looking at me to fix something, and this ain't gonna work. This just ain't gonna work.
And she's right, because my dad, we actually had to do it, but me and my sister, we knew how to change, or if it needed to be done, or put oil in the car I know how to change a flat tire.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of young women don't know.
Young women don't know how to do these things for themselves, and they're not looking for a dude who can do these things. But one of the things a guy said to me, and I thought about it because I felt like I was being judgmental. He said, for those of us who grew up in the projects, how would we have learned without having a father in our household? How would we have learned to use those tools and what those tools were? And that is a good point.
But you know what?
I guess.
This day and time, that's not valid.
Exactly.
Because you got Google. This day and time, I'm not buying that theory.
Use your tools.
This day and time, all I got to say, if you're going to start a new relationship, first off, you better ask the damn credit score. You better know what kind of credit score the person has. I would ask what type of job, what type of job you have. And if you're going to get heavy, what kind of, what kind of saving account you have, checking account. Ask these questions you want to get into a relationship, because this might lead to something else. Ask it up front, If the person gets upset, don't want to answer a question, they walk. Hell, let them walk. Take your ass on out the door.
So what would be your top 3 questions again?
Okay, credit score will be 1. The type of job that you have will be 2. And what your family history look like. If you got a whole bunch of crazy people in that family, you better keep walking.
Yeah.
If that person gonna do some kids right now, you're gonna have a little crazy ass kids. So I'm telling you, keep walking. And you know, last, and people get on me about this one. There's one more. What your mate look like? And people get on me. You marry a tacky head man or a tacky head woman, you got a little tacky head ass kids. But on these kids, think about what you want your kids to look like.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you
My
that.
grandmother used to say that.
These are things that people don't ask. You know, what your kids look like. Come. Now, one thing back in the day, parents back in the day, and especially in the black community, now we're brutal on that. If you bring a girl home, or that daughter bring a boy home, and they don't fit under the right umbrella, don't look the right way, they're gonna tell you quick, you ain't bring that damn boy here no more. That's an ugly ass boy. Don't bring him with a girl. That's just the way the rules was back then. But now, it doesn't matter now. All you need to do is make sure that person has a good credit score, make sure they got a decent job, think about the family, the history, stuff like that. Those are the biggies you have to get out of the way. Because you can work around other stuff, but remember this, if the person tells you 100%, believe 40. Because the other 60 probably is a lie.
That's true.
You ain't gonna get the truth. So you can make that one. I'm telling you that. They'll tell you all them lies. So you can do your own checking now. Because you can Google stuff now and find out.
Mm-hmm.
You can Google now. It's easy.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to Google that person. Look at that person's background. You know?
So Ed, what would be your top?
3 questions
Mhm.
for a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health status of the family. Do you have any children?
Mm-hmm.
Because although I had a child, I was not willing to be with a man that had children.
Gee whiz, that's something hypocritical.
I was the same way.
And it could
Really?
be, but I knew I was not a drama baby mama at the time. And third, like everybody else is saying, pretty much your credit score, your credit history. Like, am I going to have to do everything to get us where we need to be? Or yours is okay and we can do this together?
So I follow what you guys have said.
Yeah.
One of the things though that always stands out with me, with men and women, is your ability to be authentic. And your character. That means a lot to me. Because if your self-esteem is so low, I cannot take on the task of getting you where you need to be. Okay? And that is not going to become my burden. Okay? So, mental health, when you say things like mental health, that means a lot to me. Not only have they been diagnosed, have you ever talked to a therapist?
Yeah.
Because I know in our community we shame therapy. But let me tell you something. I need to know what somebody else said they got a license about you. Because, you know, people will say, oh, you're so crazy. You so crazy. What did the physician say?
Right.
Because what I don't want to do is it starts to expose itself once we get in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because I'm totally not taking on anyone else's baggage.
Exactly.
I agree with the credit score thing. I think things happen. And it takes a while for you to build your credit up. So I need to know what was some of the specifics and
Right.
how do you budget now though?
Exactly.
Because I don't know about everybody else, but when I got in college, I wore credit cards out. If it was a credit card, I had one. And I had probably 1 or 2 of them. And so, you know, it just kind of matters to me what was the story. Then I don't know that I'm gonna ask that question in the first couple of days. We will be getting to it.
Yeah.
You know, you got to do everything with grace, but that means a lot. And how do you take care of yourself?
Well, you know, you don't have to answer that question in the first 2 or 3 days. Like I said, if you want to build a relationship, let's face it now, You guys just go out with a guy because I just want to hook up with this guy maybe 1 or 2 times. That's it. And we want to do the same thing too. But I'm talking about when a lot of time when you look at relationship, you're like, okay, I want the relationship to lead to this and to this. But if you just plan on this is a good thing and I'm gonna be out of here, I wouldn't worry about any of that.
So this is what I know. When it says this is a good thing, we're gonna get in and out of here. Women struggle with not bringing that emotional side into it, but men now struggle with that as well. So it's easy to say, hey, listen, we're gonna get in here, we're gonna have a good time, we're gonna get out. But one of you guys might catch emotions, and that's where the problem comes in at, because you can't separate in the detachment. And we can't say, oh, it's just women, it's just women. No, it's men too.
Yeah, I agree. That's when you start asking the questions then.
I'm trying to get you ahead of it so you don't even get to that part.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get you to, because I'm telling you, you're going to make this a lot harder than what it needs to be. It can be, look, we just out for a drink. We're just out for a drink.
Because somebody's going to catch feelings. We ain't human. I don't care what you say.
But you know what, though? The guys. I can't dwell too much on the ladies. Some of the guys. When we go into something, we know what we're going in there for. A relationship, we're going to hit and quit it. Like, this is going to be a couple of times here, and I'm out of here. You know that. Sometimes you might, and it's not 100%. Somebody might say, hey, I'm going to hit this, and then you might end up staying there. I'm not going to say it's 100%. But the majority of the time is that we do it, and we keep moving. I mean, we're hunters. That's what we do. We hunt. We know how to hunt. Any way you put it, we know how to hunt. That's what we do as guys. We hunt. But as hunters, we would get the prey, kill the prey, and then we book after that. We want to hunt something else. That's it.
So, I feel like that was more predominant back in the day.
You don't think that was dominant?
Because I don't see masculinity looking the same as it used to anymore.
That's true too.
Masculinity has changed. And I'm not a big advocate of that, but it has changed because of the roles in the household has changed.
So you trying to say men's getting to be a little wimpy now?
I'm the founder of Thankful for Grace. So what I would say is that roles look different in 2025 on both sides.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
And I think that this is where I go into it's important to have a male in the household. Okay? Because when I was coming up anyway, we were kind of getting into that era of you don't need no man, you can do it all on your own. Your daddy gone, this is that and the other. But there's a difference you will see in a child, man or a female, when there has been a father in the household. And I think, especially with men, you can tell.
Okay.
You can say, and it exposes itself just with their interactions with females at work. You see it. You see it as a difference.
But I'm not gonna get on the younger guy. I was gonna say something, but
you don't have to hold back on Thankful for Grace.
Having a male in the household, is different between having a man in the household.
I say so, yes. Okay. I agree.
Yeah.
Because a man is going to do the things in a household that's supposed to be done. And that including chastise, especially the boys. Because the boys have a tendency to want to flap at the mom at some point. Now the mom might end up knocking them out. Sometimes the moms can be tougher than the dad. But you need that man in the household. You need a man for a certain task. But hell, now I see more men crying than ladies. I see the ladies consoling men. That pisses me off. And I know I'm old school. But when I look at a man in a few reasons. I'm going to say a male. You cry. If your child passes away, your wife passes away, your mom, your dad. Maybe one of you sick. But normal stuff when you just break down and start crying, that's a male to me. That's not a man. That's me now. I hate it. I don't even watch TV shows with me and start crying. I was like, what the hell? I get up and just walk out. Because for man, when you walk in a room, there's a certain thing about a man. It's almost like when Barack walks in the room.
That man can walk
swagger.
around.
That's something about that.
That's why.
Yeah, it's something about it.
They just make
I'm
you
healed.
look. You
Yeah.
just like,
That's man.
who is that? That's he owns the room.
Yes. He owns it. That's what a male does. And you don't sit in no damn car and let your female pump the damn gas. You know, you don't sit in the house while she's struggling to get the trash outside. You really don't. That's me. I'm just.
So let me know if I'm right or wrong now. Has society said that it's okay for men to cry?
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
I have enjoyed my time speaking with you guys. We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to come back with another topic. Thank you guys for visiting us at Thankful for Grace.
Have a good one.